What's up guys, my name is Tony, welcome back to another episode of Footballrs, and on today's video we're going to be doing a full review on the Under Armour Combat 7 Lineman gloves. Now if you are looking for the unboxing on this glove, we actually didn't do one, we did it specifically as a short, so go check that out and let me know, do you guys like the shorts or do you want everything as long form videos like we're doing today? Leave it down below. So today's video is going to be about the Under Armour Combat 7, and because most of you aren't linemen out there, I'm going to use this Combat 7 review as a way to talk about why companies make the decisions they make when they're refreshing products year over year. That way it might help you in the future as well, again, even if this video does not directly relate to you. Now, along with what I really want to talk about today, we will cover all the things that you need to know about the Under Armour Combat 7. We'll look at what's different from the Combat 6. We'll talk about the fit, durability, comfort, protection, style, price, breathability, everything. So this year, Under Armour has released a refreshed version of their Lineman glove. Now, they made some really clear upgrades to this year's model, but they also made some really clear downgrades that made the last year so much better. And I know why they did it. So when a company like Under Armour wants to refresh a product year over year, they go into it with the end goal of knowing how much they're able to charge for this product. Now this Under Armour Combat 7 right now retails for around $60 to $65, depending on where you're looking at. The MSRP though is $60, same as last year's. Knowing that, they also know the margins that they want on this, and that's to say how much money do they want to make off each pair of gloves, and that lets them know how much money do they have to work with to make improvements to this glove, or where would they'll have to take money from the old one to make those. It'll make sense in a sec. Basically, year over year, they make additions and subtractions to get them to the same price where they get the same margin, because they're going to be charging the same $60 year over year. Now, if they do make a big upgrade on an area of this, it's going to cost more money. That means where they spent more money on this one, they're going to have to take away that feature and roll it back so they hit that same price point. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the fit and comfort. Honestly, for a lineman glove, this one fits really good. Most lineman gloves out there honestly take a really long time to kind of get broken in and stretched in and make it feel good, but out of the box, these feel pretty good. Now, one of the biggest upgrades they made to this is going to be on the back of hand here, and you can see they actually added this mesh to the back of the hand that makes the glove a lot more breathable, but also gives your knuckles a lot more room to move and give you that dexterity that you're looking for. Same thing on the fingers. Before, they just had these little small breaks in between the padding, but with these like really small bubble pads, it gives them gloves a lot more comfortable feel, and it gives you a lot more dexterity all around. The only place it doesn't feel as nice is going to be the cuff. On last year's, it had a nice big cuff that went low down your wrist. This one is going to be a little bit smaller on here. Again, it still feels fine, but it just feels like a little bit of a weak point versus all the protection on the rest of the glove. Just feels a little flimsy and doesn't really match the overall build of the rest of it. Small downgrade. However, overall, fit and comfort, upgrade. Next thing we're going to talk about is going to be breathability. And just like the last category, the big place where you're getting more breathability is a little bit thinner material on the back of hand here, and also this mesh on the back. Now, one place I wish they did make some little perforations would be on the fingers here. It looks like they did have a chance to do it, and they just didn't for some reason, maybe for durability's sake. You also do have a couple little perforations in areas around the glove, but overall, your hands are still going to get pretty hot, just not as hot as last year's. These ones were terrible. Overall, upgrade. And this glove has a variety of different pads on it. We have basically full padding on the back of the fingers here. It is a little thinner than last year's, but there's kind of more surface area being covered. So you could look at that as kind of like a positive and a negative, basically canceling each other out. We do have a back of hand pad here as well. You don't really see it, but it's like a thin foam material. Definitely not as thick as last year's, but it is still at least something. And then you still have a pad on the inside of the palm, and it is a little bit different shape than last year's. This one, I actually do like how they made the palm pad a little bit less extended on the thumb. It gives you a little better ball feel and will make it a little bit easier for centers to grip that football. Now, as far as like the durability and what goes into it as well, everything looks stitched in really nicely on this. There's no like loose materials. Even the fabric on the side of the fingers is thicker than what you traditionally get on something like a receiver glove on the interior here, so definitely a little more durable. Everything is sewn in, nothing is screen printed. Overall, year over year, when looking at the protection of this, I'd call it like a moot point. This one is a little bit thicker in some areas, but then it's also kind of missing in some spots. So overall, kind of tough to tell. Next thing we're gonna be looking at is grip. And spoiler alert, downgrade. Now, last year's grip, what they were calling a position-specific glue grip, was basically a competitor to Nike's D-Tac grip. And that's where it's a friction grip on the inside, which makes it better for grabbing jerseys, but also makes it better to handle like a football in wet conditions. So I love the D-Tacs and also these for centers because you can still grab a football in the snow, in the rain, but you can also grab jerseys, which is what you're looking for as a lineman, and you won't get the lack of durability that a receiver grip like this year's has. Now, not to say this isn't a good grip, this is Under Armour's glue grip. It's fantastic grip when it is clean. However, it is going to wear down really fast with the amount of jerseys you're grabbing, and it's not great in all weather conditions. Overall, the grip, downgrade. Next thing we're going to cover is style. And honestly, these look so much better than these. Like, these were probably one of the ugliest lineman gloves you've seen in the last 20 years.
Boom. Roasted.
Just looking at them, they look terrible. Their one saving grace was with their glue grip on the inside. They went with like a subtle camo pattern, which I thought was a little nice touch, but they're only available in one color and a fingerless version. And just for what you're paying for gloves nowadays, this just wasn't it. This one comes in two colorways. This is the white version, and they also have an all black version. I like the grip on the inside, and what they went with here, it's a little bit more of a modern styling. Overall, style on this, upgrade. Okay, so here's why they did what they did. See, the lineman glove market is gonna be a really small market. So they know that going into this, they're not gonna be able to sell as many of these as they are other stuff. So that means any dollar that they put into the research and development, they're not gonna get as much back into it as they would as doing that same amount of research and development on a receiver glove. That means anytime they try and do really interesting or cool things with lineman gloves, they know they're not gonna have the same return on investment as they would a receiver glove, which is why if they can borrow something from a receiver glove where they already spent that money and they're already getting the ROI, they're gonna do it. That's why they changed this grip. It was probably a lot more costly to manufacture this lineman specific glue grip for the inside of here, and they weren't getting the same ROI with the amount of their units they're selling. So they figured if they wanted to take that money, put it into some other categories like changing the mesh, adding 2 colorways instead of 1 colorway, because that doubles your inventory and the amount you can sell to each person. That means that they're able to take that money that they were spending on that glue grip, reinvest it in some of the style and the protection and the breathability, while they're sacrificing the grip and taking the glue grip from receiver gloves where they've already spent the money on R&D and they already have the materials for it. Now, would I have loved to see this come in more than 2 colorways? Yes. The Nike D-Tac is the only glove right now to come in anything other than basically 2 colorways for a lineman specific glove. It comes in like 5, everyone else basically does black and white. Now they only do that because again, they don't sell as many lineman gloves, so they can't really invest as much into all these different colors and the inventory that they'd have to carry in each color. Same reason why lineman cleats only come in black and white and gloves only come in black and white, where receivers get everything. Now, this year they made a ton of upgrades, but if they're gonna make those upgrades and sell at the same price, somewhere has to be a downgrade. Overall, I love this glove. They made a lot of changes that make this a great glove, and it feels like Under Armour is honestly kind of on their way back up in the football world. I would have loved to see them keep that lineman specific glue grip on the inside here. The friction grip, I absolutely loved it, so hopefully next year they can bring that back. Who knows? Overall, honestly, I think this is a really good glove, and considering the amount of options on the market right now, I would definitely rank this as probably my 2nd or 3rd favorite, definitely behind the D-Tac, but in that kind of same category as the Adidas Freak Max. It's a really similar glove as far as colorways, grip on the inside, palm pad, padding on the back, they're pretty much comparable. Last thing I have to cover is positions. Now, this is a lineman specific glove, so you can wear this one at any position on the line. However, because of this receiver grip on the inside, you could still get away with it as something like fullback, linebacker, but I wouldn't go with it where anyone that's catching the ball regularly like a tight end or running back because of this palm pad here. Now, if you weren't a lineman, I hope you guys enjoyed my different take on this. If you were a lineman, I hope you enjoyed the review. Anyways, I'll check you next time.